What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Third Eye Blind, and once again, big shout out to Izzy, longtime friend of the channel and generous supporter with music, and he's over on Patreon, so yes, you are very much appreciated, my friend, and I've been meaning to get back to this playlist for a little while. And yes, the second tune in this compilation, I believe released in 2006, though the songs are from 97 to 2003, is it Losing a Whole Year? Do I have this right? Or Losing 1 Year? Yeah, Losing a Whole Year. So it made me think two things. One, and perhaps more likely, the idea of committing to some endeavor, some project, some relationship, some situation, and then after a year, it falling apart or never coming to fruition or failing to achieve whatever possibility was there to be had, and thus the feeling that maybe the entire year as a result was more or less wasted. Now, I suppose it would depend on the context and whether there are aspects of the effort and build-up and processes of that year that could at least be seen as sympathetic or a silver lining. But yeah, it made me think about after a year of some project, some scenario that didn't end up working, feeling like it had all gone to waste, or like an entire year had passed with nothing to show for it. I did also think, daylight saving time, not everywhere does that, but in places that do, in the spring, we spring forward and thus we lose an hour. So I thought of, what if that happened to an entire year? It wasn't so much that you wasted something, but through some circumstance, and of course this doesn't happen on a yearly scale, but the idea of somehow, suddenly jumping through time a year later where, you didn't have the experience of the previous year. I find that exceedingly less likely, almost impossible that that would have anything to do with the song here, but yeah, when I looked at it, it reminded me of the phrase that we use, like, oh, we lose an hour tonight, so make sure to set your clocks ahead. In any case, I'll try to catch what I can on a first listen. This is Third Eye Blind. The tune is Losing a Whole Year, and it's from a compilation of their greatest hits from 2006, though once again, I believe all the songs were recorded between 97 and 03. lot for multiple reasons. First of all, I enjoy the blending of edgy, more like alternative rock guitar and those like screaming, like scratchy vocals at some points. It reminded me of like screamo. Like it really had that, like emotion, the depth of emotion, but in a very intense type of delivery, mixed with overall a lighter kind of pop rock feel. It really felt like half pop rock, half alternative rock. So it had edge and a bit of intensity, but it was also sort of smooth and light at the same time, which is not an easy balance to accomplish. Normally those things are, moving in different directions, opposite ends of the spectrum, but I think there was a good blend of that. Secondarily, there were some really cool instrumental flourishes in there. There was that section where it went into like a double time rhythm across a measured transition and then back into sort of the normal percussive scheme of the track. And then right near the end in particular, there was this crazy drum flourish that had like, it wasn't just double bass, it was like, triple, quadruple bass. The kick drum down at the bottom was like flourishing in multiple iterations. So that was a particularly nice moment. And yeah, overall I very much enjoyed the synthesis, the way it all came together. And again, it felt like accessible, but also edgy and with some details that were, more complex or like technical. So yeah, a really cool balance in that regard. Lyrically, I don't know what to make of it. I heard a few things. Like one, it does sound like he's using a lot of past tense. So in that regard, it feels like, it's referencing a lost year, a project that didn't work. It does sound like he's addressing another person for a lot of it. And again, maybe the idea is not so much about the narrator, but this other person who, spent time looking for themselves or, trying to discover where they fit or how they belonged. And maybe they didn't do that for a full year. But then I heard some lines that I'm intrigued by, because there was a line, it was something like, this came around multiple times, like, you're inside, like, the world out there, like, you're in bed with the world out there, which, again, if, like, you don't feel up to engaging, or you feel like, it's a harsh, unpleasant, unsympathetic outside world, then you might take refuge in your bed. It did also remind me, though, because the in bed would come, like, later, like, after a pause. It reminded me of that old stupid thing that some of my friends did as teens, where, like, someone would say a sentence, and then you'd throw in bed on the end of it, and it would make whatever was just said much funnier, and, sort of change the context or the meaning of the larger passage. But yeah, I feel like maybe there's something to that. And then there was a line near the end, it was something like, I don't know, finding your place or spending your time with like something teens in cyberspace or something, which feels like maybe, again, because they're not really going out into the world, that's what they're doing instead, is that, they're online, like, spending time in chat like rooms and essentially like cyber circles, maybe because they can't engage, or maybe again because they finally found somewhere where they did belong. Again, I don't know how much of any of that is running in the right direction, but those are the little tidbits I heard on a first listen. Obviously, Izzy or anyone else, please do comment if you have some insight. But yeah, a cool tune. And again, it sounds like late 90s, early 2000s alternative radio type of material, but not in a dismissive way, like not in a like, oh, it's a dime a dozen or whatever. I definitely feel like this strikes a good balance between sonically like consonant and a bit edgy and maybe not dissonant. I mean, there's no part where it's like tension filled, but the guitar had edge to it. It had that alternative rock power to it. The vocals, at least at some points, really did get intense and had that screaming quality. So yeah, I like the way it all came together. Let me know what you think, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.